Monday morning, Seth Merrow from Equidaily.com, Steve Vick from Sirius and XM's At the Races. We've kind of drawn the chalk circle a little wider. The winner's circle from yesterday comes out to the backstretch this morning. We'll get into that in a minute, but I'm going to toss it over to Steve. There's a charity event this morning that he's going to talk a little bit about before we actually get into the interview conversation.
Well, good morning, everybody. Hope you enjoyed what was a fabulous Whitney day. Today, 11 till noon. If you're coming over early, please stop in front of the Silks room because Eddie Stanko and Todd Pletcher and Javier Castellano all on board and all ready to sign posters of Princess Asilmar for the St. Baldrick's Foundation. And this is a wonderful charity that looks after children with cancer and is looking for cures. St. Baldrick's, 11 till noon in front of the Silks room. You can meet Todd Pletcher, Ed Stanko, Javier Castellano, buy a Princess Asilmar t-shirt, have them sign the poster, and it's all for something very, very good. And hope you'll do that if you're on your way to the track this morning. If you weren't here yesterday, you missed an outstanding Tour de Force performance from Morino. And we're lucky enough to have El Moreno and Mike Moreno and Eric Guillot. He's the Moreno and you get the mic.
No. That's Magic Mike on the mic over there.
I got to know. I was in downtown Saratoga last night, and as is typical on a Saturday in August, there was a big party going on, a lot of people around. But I'm imagining somewhere in Saratoga, you guys were having a better party. What was that like last night?
Last night was a pretty good night. In fact, Eric called at 9:30, and I was still in bed, and he said that if we wanted to come to this show, so we had to drag ourselves out of bed this morning.
I love it. You know, obviously there are so many storylines involved here, and Mike, for you and for your involvement in the game and the investment you've made in the game, you know, to have a horse like this come along that has been, you know, instantly successful and really has operated under Eric's guidance at the highest level, it's got to be tremendously satisfying.
It really is, you know, but this business is such a business of highs and lows, and we experienced that yesterday.
For sure.
We had an extremely low experience on the fifth race. We had a horse that was euthanized and had to be put down or had a heart attack, and it was just kind of a crazy couple hours after that. You know, I wasn't even focused on the race, and my mind was somewhere else. I didn't even go in the paddock and saddle the horse. I was just that upset about what happened in the fifth, and then all of a sudden, you know, redemption. So it's a crazy game.
Well, and in terms of redemption and in terms of turnabout, here is a year removed from the Travers and some controversy that came out of it subsequently. But moving past that, Eric, you've had this horse on edge and waiting for an opportunity like this all year. He's been competitive at the highest level.
Yeah, Steve, you know, he's really hadn't done much wrong. I mean, the British Cup, he injured himself in the race, you know, for the Classic. Going into that race, he was doing spectacular. He had a hard campaign last year and came into the fall good. Gave him 3 months off to have some split bones, fractured split bone, heal up. Going on 4 months, came back. Probably would have won the race in Arkansas on Oak Lawn. He went off the layup, did well. I had to ship him 4 van rides and 4 plane rides in 10 days to go to Charlestown, which I didn't even think he fit, and still ran well off a 6-month layoff. And then I thought the Suburban was as good as a race as he's ever ran. I mean, the configuration of the track, an 11-hole. Yet every gambler told me that it was a hard spot. You know, we broke with him and we 3 behind. We had to use him up to get the lead. Is this the Suburban?
No, this is yesterday.
Okay, so the Suburban I thought was, you know, they pressed him every step of the way, and he only needs to come to the horse that came 20 off the lead on the inside to hold on for second, and going 46 and 4 and 110 and change, going a mile and a quarter. So dropping back in distance for yesterday, I figured if he got an easy lead, which he did.
And what are you guys feeling when that 47 comes?
I like the 47. That reminded me of the 49, I think, or the 48 and change for the Travers last year. When I saw the 111 and change, I thought he'd be salty.
And he certainly was coming down the stretch here. I was standing with Joe Clancy watching the big screen in the clubhouse downstairs, and that 47 came up. I said, it's going to be tough to reel in at that point. He certainly was. Speaking of, I was watching the big screen after the race. I headed out to the winner's circle. Where were you watching? Because I was right behind you. Were you watching over the mutual base right underneath there?
I was watching right underneath there, so it's close because it's so crowded yesterday. You know, you really can't get back to the horse and stuff if you're far away, and, you know, can't go upstairs. So I was watching right there on TV. you can see so much better on TV than live. At any racetrack, I kind of like to watch and see, especially younger horses when I can learn something from them. And so yeah, it was. I lost my voice hollering, just telling him, ride him, Junior, over and over and over. Because I figured it was getting close, and when I saw him turn for home and open up a couple, I was like, oh, this is gonna be tough.
You look at the splits.
Look at the guy. I didn't even see the replay.
He keeps galloping out.
In front.
He kind of reminds a little bit of Game On Dude in terms of a horse that gets these kinds of splits: 23-3, 23-4, 23-4, 24 flat, and 12-3. If this isn't a gauntlet throw, if you're going to let this horse get those kinds of fractions, you're not going to reel him in. And you got to be excited about what lies ahead as the late summer and fall unfolds.
We are. Mike and I haven't really discussed the plan of whether we'll make the Woodward and the Jockey Club and the Classic, or skip the Woodward and go to the Jockey Club, or vice versa. And fresh into the Classic. Well, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'll let Mike make decisions. I make too many damn decisions.
Hey, don't let him fool you. He's just saying that because we're on TV. He doesn't listen to me.
I don't listen to him at
10
all.
years, so he's
yeah,
not gonna start
15
now.
years. It's been 15 already.
Mike, I'd love for you to speak for him in this setting.
Oh, he's good at that.
Because I think that the public has a certain perception.
What?
Well, just a little bit, thanks to your outgoing personality. But you've known him. You guys have grown up together and are lifelong friends. In terms of the business and in terms of the experience and him operating the horse side of the business, talk about the relationship and just your thoughts. I mean, as everything that's happened over the last several years has unfolded.
Well, look, the fact of the matter is, I mean, I know Eric the man, not Eric the horse trainer, not Eric the character you guys get to see all the time. And, he's a great guy, and he's a great person, and he's a loyal person. He loves his family, he loves his friends, he loves life. All the theatrics that you guys get to see is just him having fun. He doesn't mean anything, by it. That's just him having a good time. But the fact of the matter is, he's a great horseman, and the people on the backside that know him, his colleagues and trainers, know that he is. He knows how to train a racehorse. If he had more of a little bit more bedside manner and more of a political bone in his body, he'd probably have a bunch of owners and 3 times the size stable that he's got.
Which I don't want.
Because it takes a little time to peel the onion and get to know him, because you just see the exterior, and he's he comes across as kind of a crazy Cajun, but he knows what he's doing.
Watch how you peel the onion. Now you remember you cry when you peel the onion. So
Yeah, but onions taste good, right?
Cheers are good for everyone.
They still taste good.
Well, and frankly, I can think back to
Cold truth, Steve.
well, I've seen you tear up plenty of times.
Yesterday when my horse got put down.
Well, of course, and then even the Travers, when he ran the race he did in the
that
Travers,
too.
you were so delighted with the effort and more or less him justifying all your confidence.
Yeah. I know it was. I'd do it all over again. I think emotionally we kind of waited out a little bit. Mike, I got a little emotion and ran through the file because my brother sent the video, and then Mike bought him a new truck. Mike kind of got exhilarated from the whole deal, and I got raked over the coals. But wasn't even my doing. But oh well, life goes on. Got wide shoulders for that reason. God made him. Carried a load, like a rented. I got beat like a rented mule with a bad contract.
Got to ask, because people, a lot of times people will not necessarily understand about the gelding of a horse, and one of the first things people wondered out loud, if they didn't realize that this is a gelding, he's going to be around for a while. And one of the things that happens, people say, oh, it's so too bad that they gelded him. Well, you might not have the horse you have if you hadn't gelded him.
Oh, we wouldn't have. There's no doubt about that. He would get nervous, and he's a very, very intelligent. He doesn't exert himself 100%. And the earplugs made all the difference. The gilding started it, and the earplugs and blinkers made all the difference in putting him in front of the. He does not like, just like the Met Mile. If you go back and look, Steve, it's not like he can't run with them if he wanted to. It's just not his gig. He's like, okay, I ran 3/8 of a mile, 45 and change, trying to keep up. I can't keep up. Threw my head up and did this and threw his head up, ate dirt and said, dead last. Everybody else is concerned, oh, Morino's off of form. And I'm like, was I ever doubted that he'd come back and run big? No. I knew he was going to come back when I put the equipment back and go on a mile and a quarter. I knew he'd run big.
And from that standpoint, that's the difference between a horse at 2 turns and a horse going 1 turn or an extended sprint like
Interfractions
that.
always make a race. I mean, speed's dangerous, 2 furlongs to 2 miles, and interfractions make races. I mean, there's been horses like when I had that good filly show me the stage. She was never the favorite as a 2-year-old until she got 3 and they just got tired of getting beat. It was like because she'd go 6 furlongs, final time 10 and change. The other horses would go 9 and change, but she did it 21, 44, 56, and then she'd run them off their feet, and they'd go, 22, 57, 109 and change. So they always bet the horse with the final time. But they had to try, they would get tired chasing. She just run them off their feet, and that's what Morino does. He runs them off their feet.
You alluded to it before, Woodward coming up. Is that a legitimate possibility that you come again at the meet?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Obviously,
He loves Saratoga. He loves this track.
and it's a question of whether we run in the Woodward and then get him ready for the Breeders' Cup, or we skip the Woodward, run the Jockey Club, and get him ready for the Breeders' Cup.
What are you looking at to make the decision?
He's going to tell us. I mean, he's going to tell us if he comes back next week.
Well, how did he come out of the race?
Fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah.
So he's
He's good. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, you read the one checking on him this
No,
morning?
I got my memo. I got
That's right. Yeah.
Did he just say he just got out of bed?
Yeah, we heard the beginning of that story earlier.
Executive member this morning.
So, Eric, I'm going to ask you just a kind of a basic question, training question, because you had some horses in Southern California over the winter. And in fact, if you look back on the past performances, the last workout on the page, the earliest workout for Morino's out in Santa Anita in May. Why is it Cajun based in Southern California in the wintertime?
Oh, I've been there 33 years. Actually, I moved there. I was 20 years old. I started, my training career actually in California. Matter of fact, the first registered race I've ever won as a trainer was a Grade 2. Grade 2 Triple Bend. Yeah, I paid $38 with a horse that I claimed to fix the bow tendon. The lady took away, and I claimed back for 32. 6 weeks later, it was a graded stakes race. Colt goes from claim to fame in the LA Times. So I've always been out in California, but I got here early this year because Mike and I made a decision. The track was it was like rock hard, and they changing it hopefully for the good. Just needed it. We got a barn full of nice young colts and fillies, and I wanted to be able to give them their best chance here. And Saratoga, Oklahoma, was a really good spot.
Got to ask before we wrap up too, Eric, because you've also got the baby that we were looking forward to, the Genius. When are we going to see Genius?
Oh, plan on running him Saturday.
Very
Just
good.
worked yesterday and Saturday, and Elle likes the Genius.
She does.
He likes the bike,
He likes the bite. Yeah, he does.
I got to tell you, you asked earlier about being in the business as long as I have. Yesterday was the biggest thrill of our lives, not just because it was a great race, but to share it with my daughter and have her walk the horse in the winner's circle. That was just a dream come true. So she and I had a special day yesterday.
A lot of flowers too.
There's been, I got to mention, they've had some special moments with this team, particularly Champagne Doro. That's my favorite win of yours in the Acorn at $80. That one
Right.
we're still spending that
When
money.
Elle was about 18 months old, one of her first 3-syllable word was polka. She had a dress on, and I go, "Oh, that's a nice striped dress," and she goes, "No, it's just polka dot dress," So I've always, her nickname for Garrick was always called her Little Polka Dot, and she called me Big Polka Dot, teased back. So we named the horse Little Polka Dot, Big Polka Dot. I thought for sure that the Big Polka Dot I named was that Tappy Coat when his first time was going to outrun it, but hers ended up making 400,000 stakes, or mine ended up being common and running for 7,500 somewhere. So you were right again.
Unbelievable. Mike Moreno, El Moreno, and Eric Guillot, winners yesterday of the Whitney, and maybe coming back right now at least for the Woodward, and then pointing toward the Breeders' Cup Classic. Guys, thanks so much, and
You're
El,
welcome.
thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We're going to take a break. When we come right back here on Loose on the Lead on the Sunday morning, Leah Giamatti joins us on the heels of a thrilling test victory with Sweet Reason. Back after this.